The floodwater in Victoria's north is slowly forging across to the Murray River, damaging homes, farms and businesses as it goes. Nearly a week since the floods hit our border, the cost to individuals and the community is becoming clearer. One local MP says damage to farms is similar to last year's flood, and that cost the state $700 million. In NEILL, the main concern is getting the town's hospital reopened. Cameraman Daniel Firma and I travelled there. This is the new routine for staff at the NEILL Hospital.
Probably 4 times a day, and then we've got a bus run that does 3 times a day to get staff in and out.
An island in the middle of a lake of smelly water, the NEILL Hospital is deserted and filthy. Chief Executive JACQUE Phillips shows us the damage.
That's when the efforts to save the hospital was just amazing. I looked out at one stage and I literally saw hundreds of people out there sandbagging and trying to save the hospital.
But the water eventually won.
It will be some time before we can re-establish our X-ray service.
Has the machine been affected?
It will be assessed. We couldn't get some of the equipment up off the floor in here because it's actually fixed to the floor.
How worried are you that a machine like that might be affected?
Very worried, yeah.
Kerry Swan started nursing at this hospital in 1977. This is her office.
It's pretty sad to see all this. I'm just not quite sure when we'll get back in and get going.
This will have a huge impact on the local community because they won't be able to come into their local hospital when they need medical care.
JACQUE Phillips has no idea when the hospital will open again. The town of Charlton suffered similar damage to its hospital in last summer's floods, and it's yet to reopen more than 12 months on. How concerned would you be if the hospital wasn't up and running in, say, a year's time?
Oh, I'd be very concerned. The loss to the community is incredible. I think the emotional loss now and the emotional impact seeing this hospital as it is, everyone gets touched by something like this.
The water that's still being pumped from the hospital is contaminated with sewage. Any fear that the hospital won't be able to reopen?
No, I've got every confidence that we'll get the support to keep the hospital open.
Just across the road, residents of the Pioneer Memorial Lodge have been cut off from town since Sunday.
You might deal with what you've got because you look around and there's other people worse off than us. So
it's always a fact.
Staff here are being ferried in too.
It's been quite a challenge because we are still isolated from the town itself, but we've got quite a routine happening now and it's working quite well, so I think we can cope for quite a bit longer, yes.
On NEILL's main street, the further south you travel, the deeper the water becomes. Down the end of the street that's become a canal, we meet exhausted local real estate agent Mark McNamara.
Okay, I'm just going to have to jump in there.
He's been working to save his heritage home for days.
Have a look at the pump city. We got into the back section of the home. There was 2 inches over the veranda at one stage. If you look around, we've used every ladder I've got on the property. Every stake I've had to go out waist-deep water and pull steel pickets out of the paddock to hold it up. But amazingly, at the death knock, we just hung on. I'll forever remember you and Peter Cotton. Thank you.
I think you've done the preparation, mate.
The Friends are in agreement. This is the biggest flood in NEILL they've seen, and it came in very quickly.
One of the biggest issues we've got here is the fact that we've got no decent information about levels and what's to be expected.
Water wrecked the carpet in one room, but the rest of the house is dry. We leave the McNamaras so the family and their friends can continue the work. It won't be finished until the water drops. Across the road, farmer Doug Holmes and his son Neil are checking on the sheep. These ewes have been lambing amongst the floodwaters.
They get on a bank, on a channel bank there, and they, because they're having lamb, And if they, you know, sometimes they can't get them back up if they're, you know, the wrong way.
There are 400 more ewes that the farmers haven't been able to reach.
It is a concern. They'll probably stand in 6 inches of water.
No stock have been lost, but there's other damage.
The bales are sitting in water, you know, so the bottom half of those bales are all rotten.
This is about probably 4 times, 5 times worse than the 74 2 or 3 flood, which was fairly high, but nothing compared to this. This is a monster, there's no doubt about it.
In fact, the ground is so soft, the tractor we were using for transport can't cope. Luckily, neighbour Mark McNamara is just a phone call away with his tractor.
No, we can walk down the channel bank, mate. It's all right.
The Holmeses are amongst many farmers across the region that are now dealing with damaged roads, sodden paddocks and ruined crops.
I've seen an enormous amount of damage, places that we've never seen water before.
Former dairy farmer and local Nationals MP Tim McCurdy has been visiting affected orchards and dairy farms. Last year's floods cost farmers more than $1 billion. The state government had a nearly $700 million clean-up bill.
Until those primary industry guys get out on farm, we really won't be able to tell because in terms of numbers, I think it's very similar amount of farms that have been affected, but whether that's to a greater extent, I don't know yet.